All right, we're on? All right. Hello and welcome to the Public Safety Building Committee meeting of Wednesday, April 15th. My name is Warren Allgrove. I'm Vice Chair, and we will be doing this both Zoom and regular meeting. So I guess we'll open the meeting. The motion to open the meeting?
So moved.
Meeting is open. Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, the next thing is we'll go around and introduce ourselves. You want to start, Matt?
Sure. Matt Hanson, Town Administrator.
David Robson, Board of Selectmen.
Warren Allgrove, Historical Commission.
Wes Russell, Fire Chief.
Deborah Friedel, Town Resident.
Sean Keegan, Town Resident.
Colin Loisel, Director of Administrative Services.
All right.
We should probably just run through and do a quick sound check for the people on Zoom. That'd be good.
On a Lampront resident. Rich Howard, Police Chief.
Donnie's on.
Paul Pazurski, Finance Committee.
There you go, we did it.
We get it?
That's everybody.
Okay, thank you. We're all ready. Okay, we have the agenda, and we got 7 things we're going to do tonight, and I just want to start and get going because we got a lot to cover, so we'll just go through it.
And I've got your letter up on the screen from the commission, so the people on Zoom this is what the people at Zoom are seeing right now. I've got the photo and the letter, the memo
Okay.
from the commission, just an FYI for you.
Okay, so this is, we're going to be going through this. I'm going to go through it just to read it, and then if you've got maybe you just put a check mark to it or whatever's necessary. We'll go back and go over it all, but I think we need to just go through it once and get started. So the first thing is it's from the Historical Commission. We've been working on this basically as part of the whole program that we've been part of for the center of town. So this kind of fell into that category with us. So we did come up with this list. So this is basically the reasons to utilize the Winslow School. The memo was intended to highlight reasons that this committee should consider the various municipal building needs while addressing the public safety building needs, since there is a viable option that involves multiple buildings. The report highlighting 3 options uses the existing town hall and library building as a potential public safety building. For obvious reasons, that would require that this committee also address what the town would do with the town hall and library. A plan involving the Winslow School would include: A, renovate the Winslow School to become the Sarah Ting Winslow Town Hall. B, apply for a grant for a new library and locate it on the Winslow School property as an addition or a separate building in or near the tennis court. Explore grant funding for aspects of a new police station and new fire station. Renovate the town hall and library building to become a police station as mentioned to the most recent report by Tecton. Utilize tax title land at no cost on Bryant with frontage on Middlesex Road to locate a new fire station on. F, to purchase 2 acres from Brock's Company on Kendall Road to expand the existing highway garage by adding a 4,000 square foot building for additional storage, which will help extend the life of the current equipment. Benefits to this project specifically related to the use of the Winslow School are as follows. We own the land and the building. Infrastructure is already in place, including water and electricity. Sewer is also available to the property either in front of Middlesex or on the side on Kendall Road. The building is located in the center of town, creating commanding and picturesque presence. Large windows are good for a positive working environment due to the fresh air and natural light. The shape of the Winslow School works well for a town hall, which means less cost. Building has been kept in good shape for a renovation project. The shape of the building would work well for the town hall facility and result in less expense, and it would not require a change in the footprint of the building. The property is more than double the square footage of the current town hall, which will provide for an ample space for adequate storage and record-keeping for both current and future needs of the town. Would add to define the town center. The town has invested a significant sum of money in the town center, but has been left with this vacant building, which takes away from that work. Enough land behind the Winslow School for a new library building that would meet their current and future needs. The recreation field could be used as an amphitheater or a baseball field, or both. Addresses the need for more space for block party and other town activities. The parking available at the Winslow School is ample. Having these buildings in the same area would allow for a centrally located municipal government. This would put the finishing touches on the enhancement of the town center. Based on the town's commitment to maintaining proper affordable housing and participating in the Green Communities Program, there are likely grants available for many aspects of this project. So that's kind of running down through it kind of fast, just to get everybody thinking about this whole thing. I would like to go through, if everybody's okay with it, and just kind of highlight some of the things in the different things I went over.
Augie, I can touch base more on the tax title property. I talked to our treasurer collector about that today to get an updated status and looked into that. So when you get to the tax title property for fire, I can look into that a little.
All right. Yeah. One of the funny things that we have is that for whatever reason it is, there are no grants for fire and police stations, which drive you crazy. But the libraries do have a grant program, and our library has been here long enough so we can reapply. So that's...
Before you go point by point, could I just ask an overview question? There's a lot of reasons here to support this kind of a project, or this direction. Did the commission consider any of the potential obstructions or prohibitive factors that may be involved in this, or?
No, I think what this is a first step, because we kind of got thrown this project, and there really wasn't any sort of okay, we're going to do, this is where we start. So we've got to start. Are we going to buy land? Are we going to buy buildings? Or what are we going to do? And we really don't have that starting point. So my feeling is that if we go through this is kind of a starting point. I mean, if you really want to look at it, I mean, maybe that property that being proposed is not what would work, but maybe there's a way to make it work. Maybe we won't get a grant for a library, so that puts a stop to a lot of things. So I just look at it and say, okay, I'm not going to go over there and look at that property and try to make some sort of straighten out a situation or create what we need if we're not all in agreement that if that happened, then we could put the station there. If we can't get, if the library grants an impossibility, then that changes what we can do with this building. So my feeling is that if we start with something, which is this, maybe none of this will happen, but none of us are going to go looking to do anything if we don't have some sort of where are we headed. I mean, do I want the Winslow?
I'm not sure you understood my question. I guess I was just saying this is a description of all of the positive aspects of trying to use the Winslow School building as part of this transition, but I was wondering if there was any discussion about what some of the challenges there would be to trying to use the Winslow School that would make, potentially difficulties.
I think there's going to be a discussion about everything that
The historical
I
commission
brought
didn't
in.
have that discussion, though.
Well, we didn't, we want it to happen, so, I mean, we're looking at the positive side of it.
Okay.
If, I mean, to tell you the truth, the Winslow being changed into a town hall is not a very large obstruction compared to all the other things that we need to do. That's the easiest, but if the other things don't happen, then I don't know if that makes sense anymore. So we're really going to have to say, okay, let's head in this direction, because this is some sort of a plan, but it's not necessarily the roadmap that we're going to follow.
Right.
But we don't have anything to compare anything to, and now we do. And if I mean.
You answered my question. I was just asking if they had a discussion on that, that's all.
No, I don't think, I mean, you know, we went back and forth, why wouldn't you want to do this or why wouldn't you want to do that? But I don't think, our main thing was, can that building, is it still in good shape? Could you make it a town hall? And I don't see any downside to it. I mean, obviously, there's going to be some downsides to everything, but as far as being a proposal, not at this, are all those things worth chasing? I don't know yet, because I don't know. If you come back and you say you definitely have to have your station, I don't know, a particular spot, that changes everything. So I don't really, I don't think there's anything here.
Yeah, well, let's go through it and find out. I guess I was just wondering if you guys had that discussion.
Yeah, I think our committee could do that analysis.
Yeah, we'll just go over it, yeah. Okay, like I said, applying for the grant for the library to locate it on the Winslow School property. Well, if that can be done, that's a major part of the plan. I mean, obviously, if we don't get to do that, then that's going to change what can happen to this building or where we go with them. So that's just one of the things. I know I've, you know, down here is explore grant funding for the fire and police stations. Pretty much we know that that's not likely, but you got to keep an open mind and kind of go for it. Renovating the existing town hall, the building we're in, and the library to become a police station. That was written up by that company, Tecton, and that really looked good and positive. That's a positive side to this thing. Unfortunately, the chief's not here, but I have to assume that.
He's on
On
Zoom.
Zoom.
Oh, is he here? Liz? Rich,
I'm
where are you?
here.
Rich, where are you?
I'm here.
Okay. So, well, we're talking a little bit about you accepting the town hall library building we're in as a potential spot to create the new police station.
So we've talked about this before. Again, I've told you that I certainly am open to anything that brings us forward and closer to, you know, getting new public safety buildings. If this works for the town, I think the problems that came up were the cost of renovation, and all those different issues, length of time of the movement of buildings. I think the Winslow renovation could be a great project, could be a great location for the town hall. I think Tecton did have some issues with the retrofitting of the town hall for a police department. Maybe we could get into that a little bit more, and maybe there's some other ideas and ways of making that more cost efficient to make something like this happen. I've never thought that this was off the table or a bad idea. I think it's definitely has its advantages, as you pointed out. Land is already owned by the town. But I'd be curious about a timeline. And I guess where we start is what you said. Are there grants available to help out with the renovation of Winslow to begin with? And if not, is that a non-starter for everyone in this group? Does it become too overly, as a cost prohibitive at that point to even consider it and move forward? I guess those are the questions to be answered. But no, I'm not opposed to it at all.
Mr. Chair, if I could.
Yeah,
We're speaking of grant funding and such right now. I just want to give an update. So we had our Board of Selectmen's meeting this past week, and Senator Kennedy is proposing, similar to the middle school building authority process we're going through right now, he's proposing a similar thing for public safety buildings and has asked the Board of Selectmen to write a letter of support for that, to create a public safety building authority from the state to be able to do a similar project with some sort of matching fund grant type program for that type option. So that's something that is probably coming down the pipeline, and the Board of Selectmen will be considering that to send a letter to him of support.
So a positive note.
Yes.
All right, so you're looking at, that's something that, kind of a positive look upon converting this building. Utilizing the tax title land.
Yeah, I'm sorry, could I,
Yep.
just to follow up on what Rich was saying, and, to make a clarify, I think, Matt, you'll agree, the opinion of the architects that looked at this project before felt that this building and this property was suitable for probably one or the other.
One.
But probably not for both.
Right.
And I think
Yeah,
that was-
their concerns, I think, were about trying to fit both of them, like, into this existing footprint. That would be a little tough, especially with the big fire bays, how would they
And-
kind of fit
And
into
the
the
wetlands
site?
that are on the property was part of it too, I think.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I think that when we go over I mean, if we decide that, okay, we're gonna give this a shot, I mean, I don't think that this building would be considered by this group as for fire, and, because,
Yeah,
I don't think you have
think
to-
you were saying that, I just wanted to make that clear to everybody
Yeah.
who's listening, yeah.
yeah, no, we're, the floor here isn't capable of your trucks. I mean, you would have to build, the expensive part of your facility, one thing is the heavy floors for the trucks. So you would end up jackhammering this, and, I mean, it just, I don't see that. Again, that's something that we're all gonna have to agree on, but, I mean, at this point, I don't see this building being used for anything other than just police and the communications center, probably. But, you know, that's why we have to, keep going to see what everybody wants to do. The 2 acres on Kendall Road for the existing highway garage, did I pass one up here? Yeah.
Oh, you want
No, the tax title land, I mean, obviously, any land that we can get through tax title, will save quite a bit of money if we have to, instead of buying it. And if it is that happen, that piece isn't too bad as far as the amount of, work that would have to be done to the property itself to use it. Although I'm aware of the wetland situation. But that's something, if we decided that that was the only problem, then we can chase that problem and maybe solve it. Brock's, can we buy property from Brock's on Kendall Road by the Highway Department for their facility? I mean, again, I don't think you can not include them in what we need to do, because, you know, all you gotta do is have one school bus go off the road, and it's the highway department's at fault. So, they need to, we're paying incredible sums of money for equipment that's being left outside. And no more than you would think of leaving the fire truck outside. Do you want these trucks that we're paying, what, $250,000, $300,000 a hit now for those? With and we leave them outside to rot. So, we need to give them a facility to put their equipment in. I mean, I don't know what that paving machine just cost, but certainly that should be inside. So, that's one of the things that I think is important that we don't forget. And even if we can't get 2 acres from the Brock's Corp there, I think we should take the time to try to figure out how to put up I mean, you're talking about a pretty straightforward big building to put equipment in, because they have a garage. So I think we can actually look at that and say that that's not one of the major expenses of all of these projects. So the benefits, if we use the Winslow School, is that we do own the land in the building, so it certainly saves on buying it and surveying it, and actually a lot of the work that would need to be done in most situations, because the building's already there. We don't have to do a lot of land work. The infrastructure's already in place. We have water and electricity. The building has the water and electricity there now. I mean, yes, we're gonna have to have an upgrade on the electricity, and we'll probably have to we'd have to run a sewer line in, but again, minimal compared to starting with raw land. That building is in the center of town, which is where the, it's where our town hall should be and should have been to begin with. And I will say that the reason that the town hall is not there already is that at the time, the school did not want to relinquish that building to the Board of Selectmen. They did not, they said they would never give it up as a school. It happened later, and this building was already built. So that's how we ended up here for people who say, why didn't you do it in the first place? It was just poor timing between the school and the Board of Selectmen, and time itself.
Don had a question.
Yep. Who?
Don?
Donnie Lampron?
Yeah, Warren.
Hey, Donnie, how you doing?
A couple of things I'd like to talk about is we're looking for a building to take care of fire safety issues. So we need that, number one, and we all know that. I myself think the Notre Dame property, Westford Road, is the best site. Talking about the Winslow School, you're right in saying that we really do not have a center of town. You and I talked about that 25 years ago on a Board of Selectmen. And I mean, there's things that happen, but we never included the Winslow School for different reasons, or the library. But infrastructure-wise, we have infrastructure there. We have electrical and infrastructure, which is probably way undersized what we need if we put in, if we want to feed the old Winslow School, and if we have to feed a fire station, we have to feed a police station. So the infrastructure, electrical, will be totally have to be rehabbed. The sewer is probably the smallest part to tie in the needs and the flow rates of taking care of all the buildings. But in my mind, again, we do not have a center of town, but my heart is with taking care of public safety right now. And although you have some great ideas, I'd rather not include them into this. Again, I'm just one voter out of many in the town of Tyngsborough. That's my 2 cents worth. I mean, both chiefs feel that the Westford Road sites are good sites. They're accessible. It makes sense to me. I can remember years ago, we should have purchased the Mavis Brothers. I mean, there's the first town hall we could have had before we even built the last one. But again, through politics in town, it never happened, and we ended up doing things because we do things. You know what I mean? But public safety, especially this day and age, is a top priority. I think we ought to outfit the departments we need to at a proper location, do the proper things to make us as efficient as we can for public safety. Thank you for your time.
Donnie, on that issue, it's kind of a, we've been talking about a new police station and a new fire station for years. And certainly in the past 5 years, there's been a lot more talk about the fire station and the police station. So I agree with you on that, except that in 5 years, nothing's happened because it can't seem to get any traction going anywhere. So my feeling is that if this took we spent 5 years getting absolutely nowheres except for the fact always coming back to, well, we need these two stations. And so now we've got a committee together, and in reality, I think that within a year, the committee could come together with with some sort of agreement, and then it takes a year to get the planning. I mean, if you come to an agreement and you put out and you get the architects, it takes about a year to get everybody on board before you go to town meeting and say, this is what it's going to cost and we can do it. And one of the lucky things that we're talking about here is the fact that we own the properties, so we're not being chased or worried about losing it or whatever. And if we do that, I mean, you're really talking about, you could possibly have this thing on the road in 2 years starting to get done. I think you have to move all the pieces on the chessboard to make it happen. I don't think that if you say, well, we're just going to build a fire or a police station, I mean, that's not the end, and people know it's not the end. You know, well, what are you gonna do about this? What are you gonna do about that? This is the whole package. And this isn't gonna, I mean, the fire station, if we decided on the fire station tonight that we were gonna build it and do it, a year from now, we would probably be there. But we're not there tonight, and it's been 5 years in this, and it's not there. So if we're a year from now, and then we have a year of planning, you're actually talking about, in a third year, starting to dig in the ground. So I don't think that we're that far, I mean, I know what you're saying, I get it, but I don't think we're that far off from, it's not like we're not going to build, if that building